Cat, MNT, User Data, Outputs of Story, Part 1, MD. EOF. A strange ship fell from the sky near the small town of Pine Creek one cold winter night. Smoke rose from the broken metal as it lay in the forest. Most people in town slept through the crash, but Olivia Miller was awake. She worked nights at the local hospital and was driving home when she saw the bright light streak across the sky and disappear into the trees. Curious and concerned, she parked her car and hiked toward where she thought the object had landed. The forest was quiet except for the sound of her boots crunching on fallen leaves and twigs. The moon provided just enough light for her to find her way. After 20 minutes of walking, Olivia smelled something burning and saw a faint glow between the trees ahead. She moved carefully, not knowing what to expect. What she found made her stop and stare. A metal craft unlike anything she had ever seen lay broken on the forest floor. It was smooth and round with strange markings along its side. Parts of it still smoked from the crash. Olivia approached slowly, her heart beating fast. This was no plane or helicopter, this was something else. A section of the craft was open, like a door that had been forced outward. Olivia peered inside, using her phone as a light. The inside was filled with strange devices and blinking lights. And there, slumped in what looked like a seat, was a being that was clearly not human. The alien was shaped like a woman but with purple skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. She had 4 arms instead of 2, and her face had large almond-shaped eyes that were closed. She wore some kind of uniform that was torn and stained with blue liquid that Olivia guessed was blood. Olivia should have been afraid, but her medical training took over. The alien was hurt and needed help. Olivia reached in and checked for a pulse, finding it at the base of the alien's neck. It was weak but steady. The alien was alive but badly injured. "Can you hear me?" Olivia asked, not expecting an answer. The alien's eyes fluttered open, revealing eyes that were entirely gold with no whites or pupils. She spoke in a language Olivia could not understand, her voice weak and raspy. "I want to help you," Olivia said, making her voice as gentle as possible. "You're hurt." The alien seemed to understand Olivia's intent, if not her words. She reached out with one of her 4 hands and touched Olivia's face. Suddenly, Olivia felt a strange sensation in her head, like someone was looking through her thoughts. It lasted only a moment before the alien pulled her hand away. "Thank you," the alien said in perfect English, though her lips moved strangely around the words. "My name is Zyra. I am in danger. Others will come for me." Olivia was shocked to hear the alien speak her language but didn't have time to wonder about it. Zyra was still bleeding and needed medical attention. "I'm Olivia, I'm a nurse, I can help you, but we need to get you somewhere safe." Zyra nodded weakly. "My ship's emergency beacon is active. Both friends and enemies will detect it." Olivia helped Zyra out of the damaged ship. The alien was tall, nearly 7 feet, but surprisingly light. She leaned heavily on Olivia as they made their slow way through the forest back to Olivia's car. "Who's coming for you?" Olivia asked as they walked. "I am from a world called Xyler," Zyra explained, her voice strained with pain. "My people are at war with another race, the Krill. They attacked my research vessel. I escaped in this pod, but they will follow." "Why are you at war?" Olivia asked. "Resources. Power. The usual reasons beings fight," Zyra said with a sad smile that looked almost human despite her alien features. "The Krill believe they should rule all worlds they find." They reached Olivia's car after what seemed like hours. Olivia helped Zyra into the back seat where she could lie down. The alien was now shivering, which Olivia took as a bad sign. "I'm taking you to my cabin," Olivia said as she started the car. "It's isolated. We should be safe there until you recover." Olivia's cabin was small but cozy, hidden among the trees a few miles outside of town. She had inherited it from her grandfather and used it as a retreat from her busy life at the hospital. Now it would serve as a hiding place for an alien refugee. Once inside, Olivia helped Zyra to the guest bedroom and began examining her wounds. There was a deep cut on her upper left arm and burns across her torso. The blue blood had mostly stopped flowing, but Zyra was still weak. "I need to clean these wounds," Olivia said. It might hurt. Your planet's atmosphere is already causing me pain, Zyra said. A little more won't matter. Olivia worked carefully, cleaning and bandaging Zira's injuries using her medical kit. She wasn't sure if human medicine would help an alien, but keeping the wounds clean seemed like the right thing to do. As she worked, Zyra told her more about her world and the war that had brought her to Earth. The Krill have been expanding their territory for generations, Zira explained. My people have technology they want. We have resisted, but they are strong. And now they might come here, Olivia said, finishing the last bandage. Zyra nodded grimly. I am sorry to bring this danger to your world. Olivia sat back, looking at the alien she had just helped. By all rights, she should be terrified or calling the authorities. Instead, she felt a strange connection to this being from another world. Perhaps it was simply her nature to help those in need, regardless of where they came from. We'll figure something out, Olivia said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. For now you should rest. Zira closed her golden eyes. You are kind, Olivia Miller. My people believed humans were primitive and violent. I see now they were wrong. As Zira slept, Olivia sat by the window, watching the sky. Somewhere up there, both allies and enemies of her new friend were coming, and when they arrived, the whole world would change forever. Olivia wondered if she had done the right thing by helping Zira, but looking at the sleeping alien, she knew she couldn't have done anything else. EOF. Zara watched silently, her lower set of hands clenched tightly. Alexandra noticed tears forming in the princess' large eyes but did not comment. Grief was universal across species. When the princess finally spoke, her voice was steady. They will believe. I died in the explosion. This was a well-planned assassination attempt, Alexandra nodded. That was likely the goal. The attackers knew exactly where to strike. I believe we have a significant security breach possibly within your inner circle. Zara turned to Alexandra. What happens now? Guardian. Alexandra checked the pod's navigation system. We are on course for the nearest human outpost, Sanctuary Station. The emergency beacon is active, but encoded only Earth security forces will recognize it. We will be ghosts until we decide otherwise, the princess considered this. Then we have an opportunity. My enemies believe me dead, which means we can discover who orchestrated this attack without them knowing we survived. Alexandra nodded, appreciating the princess' strategic thinking. Yes, Your Highness. We have approximately 40 hours until we reach the station. I suggest we use that time to plan our next move. Zara studied the human with new respect. When my council selected a human guardian, there was considerable debate. Some felt it was merely a political gesture to honor Earth's new status in the Alliance. She paused. I begin to understand why Admiral Vex advocated so strongly for human protection. Alexandra allowed herself a small smile. Admiral Vex has encountered humans in combat scenarios before, Your Highness. The princess nodded thoughtfully. Earth is young among the stars, yet you have capabilities that species with thousands of years of evolution lack. How is this possible? Alexandra considered her answer carefully. Our planet shaped us. Your Highness, Earth has higher gravity than most habitable worlds. Predators, environment, competition. Our bodies adapted to survive under constant threat. We evolved as prey before becoming predators, and now you guard the galaxy's newest and most fragile piece. Zara mused. Alexandra monitored the pod systems as they spoke. The treaty between Earth and the Eldari Empire represented the first step toward human integration into the larger galactic community. Many alien species remained wary of humans and their unexplored potential. Not fragile. Your Highness, Alexandra replied, just young like us. But peace requires guardians, and humans excel at protection. It seems to be written into our DNA, the escape. Pod drifted through space for 20 hours before the scanners detected another vessel. Alexandra tensed as the readings appeared on the console. Zara leaned forward to examine the data. Is it Eldari? Alexandra shook her head. The energy signature is Taurian. A merchant vessel by the look of it. She frowned. This complicates matters. Taurians are notoriously opportunistic. The princess considered their options. Can we avoid detection too late? Alexandra replied. The merchant vessel had changed course, now moving directly toward their pod. Their scanners have locked onto us. They will have detected life signs. A communication request flashed on the console. Alexandra hesitated, then accepted. The screen flickered, showing a reptilian face with amber eyes and scaled ridges. Greetings, travelers. The Taurian merchant displayed his teeth in what passed for a smile among his kind. I am Captain Draz of the trade vessel. Fortunate Wind. We detected your pod. What misfortune brings you to this sector? Alexandra kept her expression neutral. Our ship experienced catastrophic system failure. We are the only survivors. The Taurian captain tilted his head, his vertical pupils dilating slightly. An unfortunate occurrence indeed. We would be honored to provide assistance. His gaze shifted to Zara, her royal markings partially concealed but still visible to a trained eye. Especially to one of the esteemed Eldari people. Zara spoke before Alexandra could intervene. We would be grateful for transport to the nearest outpost. Captain, my companion and I have important business that cannot wait. Alexandra tensed, noting the gleam in the Taurian captain's eyes. It was the look of someone calculating profit margins. Of course, Captain Draz replied. His smile widened. The nearest outpost is 7 days' journey. However, he paused dramatically. We could make a slight detour to Sanctuary Station for the right compensation. Alexandra interjected smoothly. We have credits sufficient for standard passage. The Taurian laughed a hissing sound that set Alexandra's nerves on edge. Standard passage indeed. He leaned closer to the screen. I think we both know that an Eldari royal and her human guardian might command a more valuable arrangement. Alexandra kept her face impassive, but her implants were already running combat simulations. If the Taurian crew attempted to capture them, the odds were unfavorable. 2 against an entire merchant crew in their own ship. Zara spoke, her voice carrying the authority of her royal lineage. You would be wise to reconsider your implications, Captain Draz. The Eldari Empire rewards those who assist its citizens and punishes those who harm them. And you would face the wrath of Earth as well, for threatening a human diplomat. The Taurian captain hissed in amusement. Threats from a refugee in an escape pod. How entertaining. But perhaps we can reach an arrangement that benefits us all. When their pod was pulled into the Fortunate Wind's cargo bay, Alexandra positioned herself protectively near the princess. The door hissed open, revealing Captain Draz flanked by 4 armed Taurian guards. Welcome aboard, Captain Draz said with exaggerated hospitality. I trust your journey has been stressful thus far. Please allow us to offer the comfort of our humble vessel. While we discussed terms, Alexandra kept her hand near her sidearm, conscious that she was outnumbered. The Taurian captain noticed the gesture and laughed. Your weapons will not be necessary. Human. We are businessmen, not pirates. Though, I admit the distinction can sometimes blur in the outer systems. Captain Draz led them through the winding corridors of his vessel. The Fortunate Wind was a patchwork of different technologies and architectural styles, suggesting it had been upgraded and repaired with whatever materials were available. Alexandra noted defensive positions and potential escape routes as they walked her implants, mapping the ship layout. The captain brought them to what appeared to be a dining area, though the furnishings were clearly designed for Taurian physiology. Please, make yourselves comfortable, he said, gesturing to cushioned benches. We have much to discuss. Alexandra remained standing while Zara sat with the practiced grace of royalty. The princess spoke first. What are your terms, Captain? The Taurian captain settled onto his own seat, his tail curling comfortably behind him. An Eldari royal traveling incognito is rare enough, but accompanied by a human guardian. He made a clicking sound with his teeth. Fascinating. Most fascinating. I could simply deliver you to those who attacked your vessel. They would pay handsomely, I imagine. Alexandra tensed, ready to move at the slightest provocation, but Zara remained calm. Or you could ally yourself with the future empress of the Eldari Empire, she said, her voice level. Those who assist me now will find themselves well-positioned when I reclaim my throne." Captain Draz tilted his head considering her words. "Empress, the current emperor. Your father is in excellent health, I believe." A calculated lie. Zara replied, "My father has been ill for months, a fact kept from the public information that only those in the inner court would know." She leaned forward. "I am not merely a princess on a diplomatic mission, Captain. I am the heir apparent, and someone in my court doesn't wish me to take the throne." The Taurian captain tapped his clawed fingers on the table, his amber eyes unblinking as he assessed her. "Claims are easily made." Alexandra spoke for the first time. "Captain, our escape pod contains encrypted Eldari communications. They will confirm the princess' identity and status. With your permission, I can retrieve them." Captain Draz considered, then nodded to one of his guards who followed Alexandra back to the pod. Once alone, Alexandra quickly accessed the pod systems, downloading all security footage from the Starlight before its destruction. She needed evidence not just of the princess' identity, but of the assassination attempt itself. When she returned, Captain Draz was deep in conversation with Zara discussing potential rewards for his assistance. Alexandra provided the data crystal to the Taurian who inserted it into his ship's system. The screens around them flickered to life, showing images from the royal vessel, including Zara with her full entourage, clear evidence of her status. The footage continued showing the attack and their narrow escape. Captain Draz watched silently, his expression unreadable. When the footage ended, he turned to Zara. "You speak truth, Princess. This changes our arrangement significantly." The Taurian leaned back, considering his options. "The assassination attempt suggests powerful enemies who believe you dead, which gives us an advantage." He smiled, showing rows of pointed teeth. "My vessel is unremarkable, overlooked, by most a perfect cover for your journey." Zara nodded. "We need to reach Sanctuary Station undetected. From there we can communicate safely with my loyal supporters." Captain Draz named his price an exorbitant sum, even by royal standards. Alexandra frowned, but Zara agreed without hesitation. The captain excused himself to set their new course, leaving them under guard. Once alone, Alexandra spoke quietly in the human language, knowing the Taurian translator systems would struggle with her specific dialect. "Can we trust him?" Zara responded in the same language. Surprising Alexandra with her fluency, "No. But his greed makes him predictable. The reward I promised will keep him loyal for now." She switched back to the common galactic language. "When we reach Sanctuary Station, we will need allies." Alexandra nodded. "For now we should rest and recover our strength. I suggest we take turns sleeping." Their journey aboard the Fortunate Wind lasted 5 days. Captain Draz kept his word, changing course for Sanctuary Station. His crew regarded the unusual passengers with curiosity, but maintained their distance. The captain's authority aboard his vessel was absolute. Alexandra used the time to study the data salvaged from the royal vessel, looking for clues about who might have orchestrated the attack. The precision and timing suggested someone with intimate knowledge of the princess' schedule and security protocols. Only a handful of individuals had access to such information. On the 4th day, Alexandra discovered something unusual in the security logs. Prior to the attack, several communication bursts had been sent from within the royal quarters, encrypted using diplomatic channels. She showed the findings to Zara. The princess examined the data, her expression darkening. "That encryption key belongs to Counselor Mira, my father's most trusted advisor and my mentor since childhood." Alexandra watched the princess carefully. "Could she have betrayed you?" Zara shook her head slowly. "Mira has served my family for 3 generations. Her loyalty has never been questioned." But her voice faltered. "She was firmly against my diplomatic mission to Earth. She believed humans were too unpredictable, too dangerous to trust." Alexandra considered this. It could be someone using her encryption key to divert suspicion. Or perhaps she truly believed stopping your alliance with Earth was worth your life. The princess was silent for a long moment. "I must consider all possibilities, even those I find painful." Howe looked up at Alexandra. When we reach Sanctuary Station, I need to contact Admiral Vex. He commands the Eldari fleet and has been loyal to me since I was a child. Alexandra nodded. The Admiral had been instrumental in forging the initial alliance between humans and the Eldari. His support would be valuable. Sanctuary Station appeared on their view screen, a massive structure of interlocking rings and modules. The human outpost served as a neutral zone where various species could conduct business without the complications of planetary politics. Alexandra felt a surge of relief at seeing the familiar architecture. Captain Draz approached them as they prepared to disembark. The fortunate wind will remain at Sanctuary for 3 days, after which we depart with or without you. He bared his teeth in what might have been a smile. If you succeed in your endeavors, remember that information can be as valuable as credits. Alexandra understood the implied threat. The Taurian captain was hedging his bets, keeping his options open. She nodded curtly. We will. Remember your assistants, Captain. They departed the merchant vessel wearing hooded cloaks to conceal their identities. Sanctuary Station was crowded with beings from dozens of species, a perfect place to disappear. Alexandra guided Zara through the bustling corridors toward the human security sector. Her implants connected with the station systems, identifying surveillance blind spots and security checkpoints at a small terminal tucked away in a quiet corner. Alexandra placed her palm on the scanner. The system registered her diplomatic clearance and opened a secure channel to Earth Command. The face of Commander Olivia Beck appeared on the screen, her expression shifting from professional neutrality to surprise when she recognized Alexandra Kincaid. We thought you were dead. The Starlight was destroyed with all hands. Alexandra kept her voice low. We're not secure. Commander, need Level 7 containment protocols and direct line to Admiral Chen. Activate Shadowfall. Commander Beck immediately understood the code phrases. Her expression hardened. Initiating Shadowfall. Stand by for secure transport coordinates. The screen went dark. Alexandra turned to Zara. Human security will move us to a safe location. There we can contact Admiral Vex securely. Within minutes, 4 human security officers in civilian clothing approached them. The lead officer nodded to Alexandra tourists seeking the observation deck. Follow us, please. They were led through service corridors and maintenance tunnels, avoiding the station's main thoroughfares. After several minutes, they reached a section marked with Earth diplomatic insignias. The security officers ushered them into a sparse but secure room. Commander Beck greeted them personally. This facility is completely isolated from station networks. No surveillance, no records. She turned to Zara. Your Highness, we believed you perished with your vessel. Zara lowered her hood. The assassination attempt was well planned, Commander. My enemies believe they succeeded. Beck nodded grimly. We received reports claiming the Cabal was responsible, but something never felt right about it. The Cabal doesn't have the resources or intelligence to execute something so precise. Alexandra agreed. The attackers were mercenaries likely hired through multiple cutouts to obscure their true employer. We've found evidence suggesting someone in the Eldari inner court may be involved. Commander Beck activated a secure communication array. We can establish contact with Admiral Vex through our military channels. The Eldari fleet is currently patrolling the border near the Arcturus system. Zara stepped forward. I need to speak with him alone. Beck hesitated, then nodded. The princess waited until the others had left the room before initiating the transmission. The screen remained blank for security, but Admiral Vex's distinctive voice came through clearly. Identify yourself. Zara spoke a series of words in an ancient Eldari dialect. Few outside the royal family would recognize the code phrase confirmed her identity. By the stars, Vex's voice contained genuine emotion. Princess, you live. How is this possible? I survived thanks to my human guardian, Alexandra Kincaid. Zara explained, the attack was not Cabal as reported. Someone with access to royal security protocols orchestrated it. A long pause followed. I feared as much. The news of your death has caused significant disruption. The succession is being questioned. Your cousin Darius has claimed he should be named heir in your absence. Zara clenched her forehands. That explains much. Darius has always resented my father's favor and my support for the human alliance. Admiral. Vex continued carefully. Your father, the Emperor, has fallen into deeper illness since news of your supposed death. The physicians fear he will not recover. The royal court is divided. Some supporting Darius, others awaiting confirmation of your fate. Zara took a deep breath. I must return and claim my rightful place. But doing so openly would be dangerous until we identify all those involved in the plot. I can arrange secure transport, Admiral Vex offered. But Princess, I must warn you, the anti-human faction has gained strength in your absence. Counselor Mira leads them openly, now claiming the alliance was a mistake that cost the royal house its heir. Mira, Zara whispered. The princess shared a look with Alexandra, who had re-entered the room. I need proof of her involvement before confronting her. Admiral Vex spoke with determined authority. I will send my personal vessel to Sanctuary Station. With your permission, I will inform only Captain Cora of your survival. She commands my flagship and has been loyal to your family for generations. Zara agreed. The communication ended. Leaving the princess deep in thought, Commander Beck approached respectfully. Earth stands ready to assist, Your Highness, but we must move carefully. The assassination attempt could spark conflict between our peoples if mishandled. Alexandra spent the next 2 days working with Earth intelligence, analyzing the data recovered from the starlight. She discovered a pattern of communications between Counselor Mira and Darius, the princess cousin. These messages were heavily encrypted, but the frequency and timing coincided with key events in the assassination plot. When Admiral Vex's vessel arrived, Alexandra and Zara prepared to depart. Commander Beck provided them with additional security measures, including advanced stealth technology, developed specifically for human operatives. Beck addressed Alexandra before their departure. Kincaid, this mission extends beyond protecting the princess. The alliance between our species is at stake. The anti-human faction will use this situation to push for isolation. If they succeed, both our peoples lose. Alexandra nodded, understanding the weight of responsibility. Our priority remains the princess safety, Commander, but I recognize the larger implications. As they boarded the Eldari vessel, Captain Cora greeted them with formal respect, though her eyes betrayed her shock at seeing Zara alive. The captain was tall even for an Eldari, her skin a deeper blue than the princess, and her movements suggesting extensive combat training. Your Highness, Captain Cora bowed deeply. We believed you lost. The news of your survival brings hope. Zara clasped the captain's arm in a warrior's greeting. Captain, your loyalty honors me. We face dangerous times and need allies we can trust. The journey to the Eldari homeworld took 7 days, during which Alexandra and Zara worked with Captain Cora to develop their strategy. They would arrive under cover of a diplomatic mission from Earth, with Alexandra maintaining her role as guardian, while Zara remained disguised as her assistant. When they reached Eldari space, Captain Cora transmitted diplomatic codes that would allow them to approach the royal palace without drawing undue attention. The magnificent Eldari homeworld came into view on the main screen. Its blue-green surface swirled with massive cloud formations and ringed by defensive satellites. Alexandra had visited once before during her diplomatic training, but the sight still inspired awe. The Eldari civilization predated human spaceflight by thousands of years. Their architecture, technology, and culture reflected a species with a deep connection to the cosmos as they descended toward the capital city. Alexandra noted increased security patrols. Vex intelligence had warned them that Darius had implemented new measures since claiming his position as air captain. Cora guided their shuttle through the security grid, her credentials allowing them passage without detailed inspection. They landed at a private docking bay reserved for diplomatic vessels. Admiral Vex met them personally, his tall figure distinguished by ceremonial armor and the scars of ancient battles. He bowed deeply to Zara. Princess, your return brings light to dark times. Zara embraced the Admiral, one of the few permitted such familiarity with royalty. Admiral, your loyalty will not be forgotten when I take the throne. The Admiral led them through hidden passages within the palace complex. These tunnels date back to the succession wars, he explained. Only the royal family and their most trusted advisors know of them. They emerged in a secure chamber adjacent to the royal medical facility. Zara immediately moved toward the doorway. My father. Admiral Vex placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Princess, caution is still necessary. Counselor Mira rarely leaves the Emperor's side. Zara nodded, fighting her emotions. I understand. We proceed as planned. Alexandra activated her implants, scanning the surrounding areas for threats. The medical facility was guarded, but the security systems were familiar to her. Earth had provided consultative assistance for the palace defenses part of the alliance agreement. They waited until the changing of the guards when Admiral Vex had arranged for loyal soldiers. To take position, Zara, disguised as a medical assistant, entered the Emperor's chamber with Alexandra close behind. The Emperor lay on a ceremonial bed, his once vibrant blue skin now pale and translucent. Life support systems monitored his weakened, vital signs. Beside him sat Counselor Mira, her head bowed in apparent meditation. When she looked up and saw Alexandra, her expression shifted momentarily before returning to practiced calm. Guardian Kincaid, you survived the tragedy. Your presence honors us, though it comes too late for the princess. Before Alexandra could respond, Zara stepped forward, removing her disguise. Counselor, your concern for me is touching. She spoke the traditional words with deadly calm. Her tone carried an undercurrent of royal authority that silenced the room counselor. Mira froze, her four hands gripping the edges of her seat. This cannot be. Zara moved to her father's bedside, touching his face gently. Father, I have returned. The Emperor's eyes flickered open. Focusing slowly on his daughter Zara, he whispered, his voice barely audible. My child, they told me you were gone. I live, Father, and I have discovered who wished me dead. Zara turned to face Counselor Mira. You who taught me diplomacy and governance. You who stood at my father's side for decades. Mira rose to her feet. I have always served the Empire. You mistake my actions. Admiral Vex entered with guards loyal to the royal family. Your communications with Prince Darius have been decoded. Counselor, your arrangement with the mercenaries who attacked the Starlight has been uncovered. Alexandra stood silent but watchful, her hand near her weapon. The confrontation was Eldari business, but she remained ready to protect Zara if necessary. The Emperor struggled to sit up, his voice stronger with the surge of emotion. You betray not just my daughter, but our people. The alliance with Earth strengthens us, gives us hope against the darkness that comes. Mira looked at the humans with undisguised contempt. These creatures are dangerous, unpredictable. They evolve too quickly, learn too readily. In time, they will overshadow us all. The old races know this. Why do you think the Arcturians withdrew from the Galactic Council when humanity was admitted? Zara stepped closer to Mira. You feared change so much you would commit treason. Guards surrounded Counselor Mira as Admiral Vex read the formal charges against her. Alexandra saw a flash of movement. Mira reached into her robes, pulling out a concealed weapon. Alexandra moved faster than any Eldari could follow, her augmented reflexes allowing her to cross the room and disarm Mira before the weapon could be aimed. The counselor gasped in pain as Alexandra pinned her arms. The Emperor watched with sad eyes. The very qualities you fear in humans. Mira, their adaptability, their protective instinct. These are what we need. These are what saved my daughter when your treachery would have ended her life. As the guards took Mira away, Zara returned to her father's side. The Emperor grasped her hand. Princess of Eldari, Queen to be, you must complete what we began. The alliance with Earth must endure. It is our future. Alexandra stood at attention as Zara knelt beside the Emperor, making a solemn vow. Father, the alliance will stand. I have seen humanity's strength firsthand, not just in combat but in loyalty and determination. The two species complement each other, as you foresaw. Later, as news of the princess' return spread throughout the palace, Alexandra received a communication from Earth Command. Commander Beck appeared on the screen. Kincaid status report. Alexandra stood formally. The princess has resumed her position. The attempt to sabotage the alliance has failed. The anti-human faction has lost its leadership. Beck nodded. The treaty signing will proceed then. Yes, Commander, Alexandra confirmed. And with the princess endorsement, expanded cooperation between our species. When the communication ended, Alexandra found Zara watching her from the doorway. The princess approached Guardian. My father wishes to see you. The Emperor was sitting upright when Alexandra entered his chambers, his condition improved by the joy of his daughter's return. He gestured for Alexandra to approach Human Guardian. You have served, beyond the requirements of duty. Alexandra bowed. Your Majesty. It was my honor. The Emperor studied her. You represent the best of your species, as my daughter will represent the best of ours. Together our peoples will accomplish great things. Alexandra stood tall, accepting the responsibility his words conveyed. The princess had proven herself a worthy ally, and humanity had demonstrated its value. Enemies would remain both human and Eldari, who feared the alliance. But for now, a path forward had been secured as Zara took her place beside her father, preparing to address her people. Alexandra stood nearby, watchful as always. The human guardian and the alien princess united by circumstance, bound by mutual respect, each representing the hope for their respective species in a vast and often hostile galaxy.